it's so seldom that we get a chance to talk to somebody, let alone be with somebody that was a big part of that. And Lieutenant John got quite some stories to tell you. If you ever studied your history and they talk about the ship that wouldn't die, that was John's ship. The Japanese dropped 500 pounders on top of his ship, and it blew up the magazine, killed a lot of people, didn't sink it. And this guy played a big part in getting it mobile and getting it back, and they took it all the way from 60 miles off the coast of Japan all the way back to New York Harbor. Nice. And the ship was refurbished. Unfortunately, it was after the war by the time they got through with all of it, but they did have a job, and this guy had a great part in it. So we are so proud to know him, to know about you and what's going on, and we wanted to induct you into our membership as our oldest, most revered member. I guess I'm gonna have to quit calling John Tempe Father Time. I'm gonna start calling you Father Time because you exceed him by at least 5 years. But I've also been told you don't want to be playing in bridge games with this guy unless he's your partner. Ooh. Okay. So I'm gonna, for just a second, I'm gonna turn it over to Roger, who's gonna have a few things to say here. So Roger, if you would go ahead.
Well, I just had the pleasure of living in Horseshoe Bend. His daughter and son-in-law were there. And she came up one day and said, you know, Roger, said, I've got my father that's living with us, and he's a World War II veteran. So when I met him and we started talking, I just went home that night and said a little prayer, and I said, God, if you will give me the stamina that this individual right here has, I'll sign a contract and send it back to you, and take me anytime you want. But he is an example of truly the great Americans, and I've had the pleasure of meeting many. He has his paper right here. He's had this paper since the very beginning. His daughter, come on up, his son-in-law, they are proud of their father and their father-in-law. And I am so proud of each of you. This is a wonderful organization we have here. Wonderful organization. The fellowship, the way that we are able to say, congratulations, job well done. Veterans are very special people. And I was out at the Shrine Circus today. I'm a Shriner and I'm volunteering. But we had Veterans Day. And I put on my American Legion hat and do the pledge. And I tell everybody there, freedom is not free, someone has to pay for it. And I make everybody sit down. And I say, well, now will all the veterans please rise? And they stand up. We salute you and thank you for your service to our country, because you have paid your tabs. But there's young men and young women all over the world, as we're here at the Shrine Circus today, that's paying their tabs so we can be free Americans. We must never forget that. I tell them, when you see a veteran, thank them for their service to our country. When you see one in uniform, salute them and thank them for their service to our country. So I appreciate what y'all are doing. I'm saluting the good lieutenant, and I'm thanking him for his service to our country. And now I think you have something special, Jerry.
Turn it over to Jerry, please.
Okay, attention orders. Certificate of membership is presented to John White Bostian in recognition of his faithful and honorable wartime service as a lieutenant, United States Navy. During the Second World War, the Johns Creek Veterans Association welcomes him as a full member with all rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Signed, Michael E. Mizell, Lieutenant Colonel retired, United States Army. President, Jerry Tearsmith, JCVA Membership Chair.
Thank you. Turn this over so we can get a shot of that here. Come on in. I don't bite.
Your pictures here.
Got drink part of it?